Hey guys, so I've been training jiu-jitsu for quite a long time now, probably close to 20 years, and I'm a black belt, and yet I still get tapped. Now that might surprise some people. I know a few white belts who've asked me about it directly, or who've looked a bit shocked when they've seen it happen during class. So today I want to answer a few of the most common questions that I get, questions that I think a lot of people are maybe wondering, but maybe don't want to ask out loud. So if you've ever felt discouraged by tapping too much or confused about what rolling should look like at different levels, then this video is for you. So the first question is, do you still get tapped as a black belt? And that's 100% yes, absolutely. And I'm not just talking once in a blue moon. I get tapped regularly, and that's not me just being careless or lazy or being crap at jiu-jitsu. It's just a result of how I train. I roll in a way that helps me learn, helps me grow, and helps me stay in the game, and not in a way that just, feeds my ego. As a black belt, I'm not trying to win every single roll. I'm trying to refine things. I might purposely work from disadvantageous positions. I might let some people pass or get deep into an attack so I can test out my defense or my timing. And sometimes, that will result in me getting tapped, and that's okay. In fact, if I went a month without getting tapped, then I start to worry that I'm not really challenging myself enough, because what's the alternative? Only rolling with people that I know I can dominate, or avoiding positions where I'm weak. And that's not growth. That's just hiding from, any of my weaknesses. Now, getting tapped doesn't make me less of a black belt. If anything, it makes me better at staying sharp and open to improvement. Next question, how does it feel when a lower belt taps you? Honestly, it's fine. I guess sometimes it depends on that lower belt, the way they take it, but I try not to take it personally. I'm not fragile in that way. Sometimes people think black belts get upset if, they get tapped, or they might feel embarrassed if a lower belt taps them, but that's not how I see it. If someone catches me because they've got solid timing or because I took a risk, then fair play to them. If they earned it, then good on them. And if it come from a scramble, or me playing around, or me taking risks, then that's part of the process too. Now, I will say this, some people do go into overdrive after they tap a black belt. You can see it in the face, like they've just won ADCC, but what they don't realize is the context, the context behind that role. And that's what matters. Was I working from a terrible position? Was I letting you lead? Was I injured? Was I exhausted? And I'm not making excuses. I'm just being honest. Rolling is complex. It's not always a level playing field. So if you tap a black belt, then take the lesson and don't take that as a victory or a trophy. Just ask yourself why it worked. Can you do it again? Can you set it up with timing, pressure, control, or was it a one-off? And that's where the real growth is. Next one, do you ever let people tap you? Sometimes, yeah, but I don't just necessarily, give out submissions like freebies, but yeah, sometimes I'll give people opportunities. Sometimes I'll roll, and try not to use my legs. Sometimes I'll try not to use my hands. Sometimes I'll just try to use one side. Sometimes I'll work from the weakest side. Sometimes I'll start with them in mount. Sometimes I'll start with them in back control, and I'll give people a chance to work. And I do that because I'm trying to develop as well. And it's about me developing and my partner developing. I don't need to be winning every single round. I've already proved myself in jiu-jitsu on the mats, in competition, years and years of training, just grinding it out. I'm more interested now in creating productive training, and that means putting myself in danger, testing reactions, and helping others feel out, scenarios. So no, I'm not deliberately giving rolls away or giving rounds away, but I am rolling with a different purpose than someone who's just trying to tap everyone and walk off feeling like, they're a champ. Should you feel bad if you're getting tapped all the time? No, especially if you're a white belt or a blue belt, or if you're older or smaller or injured. You're going to get tapped. You're going to spend rounds and rounds on the bottom. You're going to feel frustrated, tired, overwhelmed. And that doesn't mean that you're doing something wrong. It just means that you're learning. Too many people get discouraged because they think that getting tapped equals failure. But in jiu-jitsu, it's just feedback. That's all it is. showing you where there's a gap in your timing or your technique. And once you see it, then you can work on it and fix it. And also don't forget that context. Are you 55 kilos going against someone who's 90 kilos? Are you a white belt versus a purple belt? Are you training, twice a week and rolling against someone who's training twice a day or 3 times a day, 4, 5, 6 days a week? Are you 45 years old and you're rolling with 20-year-olds? These things really matter. Comparison is just poison if you don't consider the full picture. So no, you shouldn't feel bad. You should feel proud that you showed up, you kept going, and you kept learning. What's the real goal of rolling in training? For me, the real goal is just to improve, not necessarily to dominate the round all the time. Training is where we refine our game. It's where we try new things, figure out our timing, learn how our body responds under pressure. It's not about collecting taps. It's not about showing everyone how tough you are or how technical you are. It's about building something real over time. Now, there are different ways to roll. Sometimes you're flow rolling, sometimes you're focused on a specific problem and isolating, sometimes you're rolling hard because you've got a competition coming up. But the purpose should always come back to growth. Am I growing whilst I'm training? Now, if you're just trying to win every single round, you'll avoid your weaknesses. You won't take risks, you won't try new techniques, and you'll just become stagnant and you'll actually stunt your own development. So for me, I try to treat every round as an opportunity to learn, and if I get tapped or smashed in the process, then so what? I got better today. What advice would you give to someone who's discouraged from always being on the back foot? First, you just need to relax. You need to breathe. It's normal. It happens to all of us. We've all been there at some point in our jiu-jitsu journey. I've had full stretches where I felt like I wasn't improving at all, and times when I felt I was stagnated or plateauing, and even times where I felt like I was regressing and I was actually getting worse, constantly on bottom, getting smashed. And now as a black belt, over 40 or over 50 in my case, I still have days where I'm tired, I'm beat up, and I'm just trying to survive. Even last week, Friday morning, I was rolling with some guys, white belts, blue belts. And one particular blue belt, he's bigger than me, he's 30 years younger than me maybe. He was just all over me for the full round. And I was just constantly in defense mode, but I stayed safe and I got through the round. I didn't get tapped. I was under pressure all the time, but I stayed safe. I stayed present, I stayed focused, and, I kept my composure. Now, had that round gone on for 15 minutes, 20 minutes, 30 minutes, back like it used to with the old Gracie challenges, then who knows what might have happened. That guy might have ended up tiring himself out, and then at that point, I've still conserved my energy. I can come back and maybe win that round. But the point is, you just need to be present, and you need to be focused, you need to be aware, and just, survive today, and then you can improve tomorrow, and that's all it is. The real question isn't, did I win? It's, am I better than, the version of me from last week, last month, 6 months ago, last year? And that's really the only comparison that matters, comparing yourself today to yourself, whenever. So, in answer to the first question, yes, I still get tapped, and it doesn't bother me, because this isn't about looking invincible. It's about growth. It's about longevity. It's about learning. And if you're focused on getting better, not just looking good, then you're on the right path in jiu-jitsu. Now, if this helps you and it's maybe taken some pressure off your training, then go to bjjover40.com, grab my free mindset course. It's called the 99% Blueprint. It's 10 honest lessons about ego, injury, self-doubt, age, and everything that we deal with on the mat, especially over 30, 40, 50, 60 and beyond. If you've got any more questions that you want me to cover, then drop them down in the comments below. I do read them all, and I'll try to get to them in a future video. Until then, I'll see you in the next one.